Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going down just a little bit today, but some altcoins react more. It's quite interesting how sensitive this market is at the moment. I've been looking at a few altcoin charts just now, and for example, Bitcoin has just gone down like $40 or something. And for example, just I had the Ethereum chart obviously is reacting more significantly than Bitcoin. Nothing too crazy. BNB is starting to break out of this triangle to the downside. It's just quite interesting. I did have the GMX anyway. I did have the optimism chart open as well, which reacted to resistance. Again, it's of course a Bitcoin video, but just find it interesting how sensitive this market is right now. Everything seems to be watching Bitcoin, and maybe this is already a hint that Bitcoin is starting its further decline that we are still expecting. At least it is for us the leading scenario, but we're going to talk about that in this video. Now you can still see here on the chart, this is the 4-hour chart. Just want to start by just reminding you of the bigger picture, that Bitcoin has produced quite a bullish looking structure of the November 22 lows. We've been tracking this uptrend since December, January, and have been on the right side of the trend here with our videos, captured all these trend reversal areas, and this is another one now. The price actually already left to the upside, but it now is up to the chart and the market to show if we are already here in the third wave rally. But ultimately, it should escalate higher, as shown, into the 40 to 50k region. There is, of course, a very clear condition, which I'm explaining in every video. I remind you of that the current setup is going to break below 26,080, because what we can only do in this analysis, we can only use the Fibonacci levels and our interpretation of the Elliott Wave counts to understand in which trend we are. And if those Fibonacci levels break, then it indicates that the sentiment is going to shift and that we are going to move into a different wave count. So there is always a leading scenario and a following scenario, or you could say there's a primary and an alternative wave count. They are usually both highly likely. They are both probable. I typically do not show you any unlikely wave counts. Yeah, any Elliott Wave analyst is doing the work to use the vast infinity, you could say, of possibilities in the market and brings it down to 2, maybe 3 scenarios. 3 is already a lot, but 2 is typically fine, and you can work with 2. If you have 3, it's going to get complicated, but if you have 2 likely scenarios, you can work with it. So both of our scenarios are bullish at the moment. Of course, there is a bearish possibility, which will gain in probability below 26,080, but there is still plenty of bullish support left to protect price should it really go below that imminent bullish support level. So anyway, that setup of 1-2-1-2 structures could project, or does project at the moment, to a rally that could happen at any time. At the same time, if the price needs to correct a little bit more, it can use the entire yellow support area. There are, however, some structural support areas here that we need to pay attention to, like the ascending trend line here, the descending trend line here, and we have Fibonacci support as well. The 50% retracement level, for example, is very relevant at 28,320, which is exactly where we had previous resistance several times. It's quite an important level. Also here, yeah, there is a lot of resistance there, and or previous resistance and now support. We can also add the volume profile to indicate where are these structural support levels, and I find it structurally, and I find it very interesting to see that exactly where we expect some support, which is at 28,320. We have a volume spike starting. This indicates if price gets into this region, we are looking at the choppy price action. That's quite interesting. So we need to pay attention to that, because there is not only Fibonacci support, but also previous structural support. And typically, when you see these volume spikes, it is typically where the price will see some kind of support. It is where the price is starting to slow down. Similarly, we currently have support where we are now, and that basically here, if I just use here a rectangle here tool, basically to draw a rectangle around those volume spikes here and the area in which price currently is moving, we're going to zoom in and compare that with our latest Fibonacci support area, okay? I just have to zoom in because the VRVP volume profiles are not going to stay as they are because it's the visible range, but you can clearly see this volume profile is covered by the rectangle. So I'm going to move or zoom out again, or take that VRVP off. Let's zoom in, and you can see that also here on the micro level, the Fibonacci support area highlighted here in orange is exactly overlapping with the structural support or volume, previous high volume. So it indicates, or it confirms or explains to us why it is so choppy here, because this is typically where the liquidity is sitting. It just is the area where price is slowing down. So that means that if we break below that volume profile, that volume spike, price should accelerate down. And that is basically in line with my projection that below 29,000, which is this lower boundary line, price should accelerate down to 28,320. And yeah, you can see that actually here. This is not only Fibonacci support, it is the volume spike. There is not much here. And then price could come down quite quickly to the next volume spike, which is around the 50% Fibonacci retracement. So hopefully that's useful to understand, yeah. So as long as we're holding, that means on the flip side, as long as Bitcoin is holding above 29,000, it could still go up short term. And we have also here, like on the Ethereum chart, a white wave count, which I think is still leading. So A wave down, B wave up, and then C wave down. So we're looking at lower. At the moment, as long as we're holding above that support area, above 29K, there's a certain potential that it gives us a higher B wave. It could also be finished, but I will only really have confirmation for that as soon as price breaks below 29K. And we all know where it should go then. And if, as long as we're holding 29K, I can also keep the yellow wave count on the chart, which would be the bullish wave count, a direct breakout count, which is of course possible because price turned around in the yellow trend reversal area. The reason why the yellow wave count is not the leading one is because this swing low here, the Monday low, did not go below the Tuesday low of the previous week, which leaves an unclear bottoming structure. Therefore, it is worth to be skeptical. And that is why the yellow wave count is not the leading one until price can fill in all the 5 waves, give us 3 waves down for the next trade setup higher. That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.